It's Elias AK-47 roaming live from the gutter, and you're listening to the OTS Project. Shots will be fired.
Could be a president that will ruin the economy for generations to come.
That is also true. That is also true. All right, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OTS News this week. That's our intro.
That's our intro.
Not gonna give any of y'all any context to what we were talking
context.
about there, but
If you know who it is, you know who it is.
just go. Oh, there's a dog back there. Just go get yourself some chicken nuggets. That's what I could say. Go get yourself some chicken nuggets.
There you go.
Yeah, what's going on, Mr. Theo? How's everything going? You're back from your trip?
I'm back from Maine. It was a very, very fun time. I've also been recovering a little bit because I had a little bit of sickness going on earlier this week, probably from the plane ride back, because planes are just notorious for sickness spreading and stuff is going around, so it has gotten me. But I'm feeling better now today. I was at the gym earlier this morning working out, getting my body back into fighting shape. But yeah, Maine was a super fun time. We had a lot of fun up there. What else have I been doing this week? Oh, Peacemaker, obviously. We'll obviously talk about that a little bit further into this episode. Yeah. But I've been watching that. I think that's pretty much been it. Outside of just like working and recovering from sickness. That's pretty much how my week has gone, outside of Maine.
The plane situation is a very true thing, though. I feel like every time I've flown, I get sick. And I definitely think I've probably flown more like post-COVID than I did before COVID. So maybe it's because I had COVID, and like I feel like, not to ramble, but there's a thing called like long haulers disease or whatever, and it's like when you have something and it kind of fucks you up. I definitely have that, where like after having COVID, I'm definitely still like messed up in certain aspects. And so when I get sick, even if it's like a common cold, I'm kind of like out for the count. But yeah, every time I fly, I get sick for days after that. It's horrible. But yeah. On my end, nothing too much going on. The pool is still progressing. The electric has been added to the pool. I know everybody is excited for my weekly pool updates. But the electric has been added to the pool. I totally forgot to do this, so I went to let the dogs out yesterday morning, and as soon as I let them out, they started like barking and stuff. So I'm like, oh god! And I realized that the pool guy was there, like checking on something. And so I'm like talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, check. It's like typical dude conversation, I guess. He's like, yeah, man, check out this badass light. And he's like showing me the light. Meanwhile, this is like 8:30 in the morning, so I'm like, yeah. So I'm like not paying attention at all. He's like, yeah, man, that's the coolest light you could get for a pool. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy even yapping about right now, dude?
Dude loves his pool lights, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So he told me, he's like, you got to come back out here tonight. I'm going to leave the remote. You got to come out here tonight and try it. And I totally forgot. So I'm going to maybe try it tonight and check it out and see how cool the light is at night, So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Just the pool. The pool's been happening. Yeah. Other than that, not too much. I do want to say, actually, we'll just use this as our OTS showcase, actually, and we'll just dive into that real quick. Shout out to my cousin, not your cousin, but my cousin, Logan, because today, as we're recording, it is his birthday today. So I want to give him
Happy birthday,
the big
Logan.
shout out. He is, and even though he's not your cousin, he's almost like your estranged cousin or something like that, just because you've been around him.
Yeah.
Like, been around him for so many years. So this is going to be crazy to you. He is 20 years old, dude.
What the fuck? Oh my god, why did you say that?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. He is 20 years old today. Definitely Dude. Makes me feel old. But it's still cool to see, because you and I both have kind of watched him grow up. We've been in his, like, around him and in his life since he's literally been born. So, like, us, again, me more, but you too, with various Christmas parties and birthdays and stuff. That's why I say, like, he's your not cousin, but he is kind of your cousin, because you've been around him for so long too. So it's like seeing him grow up into like a very respectable young man is really cool. And to showcase him in the actual OTS showcase, he is another one who is super creative, man. Like, he does not, the issue with him is that he doesn't like use it in a way, but he is super creative. When I talk to him about stuff and we discuss certain things, he has ideas for certain things that has helped us out that we don't even like. He is super creative, and he doesn't really use it anymore. But he had a TikTok that he would use under like it wasn't like his name, but he would use it as like a he would make like edits, and these are some of the coolest edits. I don't think I ever showed you, so I'll have to send it to you. But he has made like some of the coolest edits. So yeah, I want to shout him out because it's his birthday, but also like he is super creative, and I would love to see him like kind of utilize his creativity a lot more than he does because yeah, he's got a lot turning up in his head that I think could be very useful in a creative space. So that'll be our OTS showcase. And a happy birthday to Mr. Logan Cowish.
Hell yeah! Happy birthday, Logan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, song of the week. I don't have a song of the week. I completely did not think about this, so I'm gonna let you. Do you have one?
I do have a song of the week. I do
Okay.
have one. My song of the week is gonna be again by Fetty Wap. So while we were up in Maine, we're driving around in this car that we got for like a rental car, which was a fucking Mercedes Benz, which was totally it was smarter than all of us. We did not. There are probably still features
Couldn't
on the
figure it
car
out.
we didn't even like figure out or even know that were in there. We were
Right,
like
right.
learning with the car as the days went by, but one of the running jokes that we had was we got these walkie-talkies like the first day, so that whenever we would go like hiking and stuff like that, we can use them. And early on in the night, while we were driving back, it was like 11 p.m. at night. We're all tired. We've all had like a full day. We all like came home from like flights and stuff like that. We've all been walking around, grocery shopping,
Right.
all that stuff, and we're all sharing this one like Spotify playlist where we can all cue stuff. And
Yep.
I kind of was just like, what if I just cued some Fetty Wap right now? And I queued it up, and everybody was just having like the funniest reaction to it. We started blasting Fetty Wap 11:30 at night, just driving into the fucking to our
That's
Airbnb
great.
in Maine. There are people
great.
sleeping in the back of the car, and we're just blasting Fetty Wap up in the front, just
That's
having
awesome.
the funnest time. And then that develops into the joke of we then just start playing Fetty Wap into these walkie-talkies, which just sounds fucking awful, like it's coming off
Right.
of 1920s radio. But
Right.
it's so fucking funny, so it has to be my song of the week just for
That's great.
just for the fun times.
To add to it, were you guys? Because I could see your location on Snapchat or whatever. Were you guys literally just in like a cabin in the woods?
We were in. It wasn't even a cabin. I have to send you the pictures of this because this is fucking
Okay.
crazy. It was almost like a cabin, but like it was dome shaped. Like the
Huh.
entire house was just one big like wooden dome, and when you were
That's so
inside
weird.
of the house, like, because there's like multiple floors. Because there's like obviously like the first floor where like the kitchen and living room and stuff like that is, but there's also like a second floor that's almost like a balcony sort of area that has its own like bedroom and stuff like that. And
Right.
depending on where you stood, either on the first or second floor, if you spoke in a direction at the wall, it would bounce off the walls to where it would almost sound like the person that's on a completely different floor is standing right behind you,
That's
talking to you
insane.
from behind you. It was
Yeah, it's
so
fucked.
we called it dome madness because that's
Yeah.
literally that's all it is. But it was so
That's crazy.
fucking awesome. I
That
have to
seems
send
like
you
it needs to
pictures.
be. That needs to be like included in a horror movie or something like that.
It
Like it
should
seems
be.
like the
It
perfect
absolutely
setting
should be.
for a horror movie. Yeah, I think I sent it to our group chat because I just like saw your location. I was like, "Are you okay? Are you good?" Because like you're just in the middle
we
of
were
the woods.
dead in the middle of the woods in Maine, which honestly at this
That's
time of
crazy.
the year was a perfect place to be
Right.
for a vacation.
No, that's cool. My song of the week is gonna be. This is like a. It's not an oldie, but it's like low key older song to me. It's gonna be "Don't Die Digging" by The Graduate. This is this. I know of this song because this was Johnny Gargano's song on the Indies before he got signed, and it is a banger. When his music would hit, obviously he would get a pop because he's fucking Johnny Gargano. But I think people also pop because it's just like, oh, we're about to hear the banger of a theme song. Come on. So that's my song of the week, and I have used it. So I think you saw it because I posted it on my close friend story. I have like Jesse made me similar to what we have for here and whatnot. He made me like an intro and outro for my YouTube channel. So I use that song as like my intro song because I just think it fits so perfectly with the vibe of that. So yeah, if you haven't listened to it, you should listen to it because it's a banger for sure.
I only heard it when I was going through the story, but it sounds
Yeah.
pretty good from what I heard.
Yeah, it's fire. So yeah. All right. our weekly blind rank. This is my favorite time of the week. I love this.
Dude,
this like 10
I got a
minutes.
great one. I got a great one.
I have a good one too. It's not unhinged. This is a good topic that we both were eventually going to get to. So I'll start first.
Okay, you start.
All right, Theo, you are going to be blind ranking wrestling finishers.
Ooh.
Good old wrestling finishers.
Okay.
Again, this is something we
fuck
were
with that.
eventually going to get to this at some point because it's just
Probably, yeah.
so perfect.
Makes sense.
So yeah. All right. Starting with number 1, the RKO.
Oh my god. Talk about a legendary finisher, man. Shit. Like as a finishing move, it's obviously like I don't think it's like obviously like the strongest, but like man, when you hit this shit, it just
Right.
you can hit this shit from anywhere, and it's
From
just
out of nowhere, man.
fucking- It's a big pop every single time he does it, man. I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm gonna put it
All
at
right.
2. I think
Okay.
it's pretty good.
All right. Your number 2 is going to be the Sweet Chin Music.
Ooh.
Tune up the band.
The hype around this move, man. Honestly,
I mean, it's not even really a finisher anymore. Now it's the
It's-
super kick is just used.
That's really my dilemma here because it's so commonly used by everybody nowadays that I feel
Right.
like it's just lost its luster. But man, when Shawn Michaels would do this shit, man, it was
Right.
fucking awesome every fucking time. I'm
Tune
gonna
up
put
the
it at
band,
4.
man.
I'm
Okay.
gonna put it at the 4. I
All
will
right.
say, whenever because I'm obviously like I've been recovering from a sickness and stuff like that, so I have like cough medicine and stuff like that. Whenever I take medicine and the taste really just gets to me, I will just start to tune up the band wherever I'm at, just out of
Hell
pure
yeah.
disgust,
Hell yeah.
just to get through it.
That's like that's just like every wrestling fan at some point just starts slapping
Yeah.
their leg and jumping on their
And-
foot and shit like that.
Yeah, just jumping on the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar though to something else that every wrestling fan has done and still probably does is the Triple H water spit. So your next one is going to be the
of course.
pedigree. The
Oh,
pedigree
the
is your next
pedigree,
one.
man. Let me tell you what the problem is there's so many really good finishers.
Yep.
And while this one's a really good finisher and a really devastating one, I'd say compared to a lot of other ones, I just feel like it's just not as like flashy or hype as other ones. I would say I might put it at the 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you could definitely tell. It's like a devastating movie. You could definitely tell whenever Triple H hits it. You could definitely tell who he likes and who he doesn't like by
Yes.
depending on if he lets go of their arm or not.
Right.
'cause
Yeah.
If he lets go of your arms, you're good. If he holds your arms the whole way down, he's
You're
basically
done.
telling you to go. He's telling you to go fuck yourself, and you better turn your face so you don't break your nose.
Right.
Yeah. Your next one is gonna be the Stunner.
Oh my gosh. Man. I mean the stunner it's legendary up there with the RKO. I mean you really can't
Mm.
Oh, shit. Man. I feel
It's
like
hard.
I feel like I gotta give it the 1. I gotta give it the 1. It's just
All right.
that's like the finisher of all finishers right there, man.
Hell yeah.
It's so timeless.
What is your spot that's open?
3.
Well, your number 3 is going to be the Tombstone Pile Driver.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
Okay.
that. I'm okay with that. I feel
Alright.
like that's a pretty good spot for it. It's obviously very legendary, but at the same time, it's very simple. I'd say because it's just a pile driver, but your opponent's facing the other direction.
You're
So,
69 your opponent.
You're 69 your opponent all the way down. I'm okay
Right.
with it being at the 3.
Oh, you got me, brother. Oh man! All right. So what was your full list there? It was the
My full list
Stunner
was
at 1.
Stunner at 1, RKO at 2, Tombstone at 3, Sweet Chin Music at 4, and then Pedigree at 5. Honestly, I'm okay with that list. I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
that's a good ranking. I think honestly, I think I would do Stunner at 1. I think the Stunner is just so good. RKO
Yeah.
probably at the 2. I would probably put the Pedigree at 3, the Tombstone at 4, and Sweet Chin Music at 5. That's
Okay,
probably
okay.
would be my ranking. But all right, what do you have for me?
So I know I know how much you absolutely love bald people and bald characters. So I am going to be having you blind rank bald characters
Woo!
throughout fiction.
Woo! Heck yeah! Oh, side note though, before you jump into it, this is something I wanted to say before we even started recording. This has nothing to do with anything, but it just popped in my head because I'm thinking of Danny DeVito being kind of bald as Penguin. I let the dogs out this morning. And I clearly heard a bird chirping, but the bird chirping sounded like laughing, and I just like again at like 8 a.m, half awake, I just went, Penguin. Just because it literally was like that's all I heard. And so 8 a.m, I've been awake for 5 minutes. I'm just like, the fuck is the penguin doing out here, dude?
Don't you know that the penguin has a summer home in Newport Richey, Florida?
Yeah. Thanks for doxing me. Appreciate you doxing me, bro.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome,
all right,
man.
bald people.
Bald people. All right, we're gonna start off with the obvious one here. We're gonna start off with Lex Luthor.
All right. Am I ranking them on how much I like them, or am I ranking them on how good of a person they are? Because
I guess how much you like them. Let's go with
okay,
that.
I'll put him at the 3, middle of the road. Like he's not. I don't dislike him, but so far he's not like my favorite bald person.
Okay. Next one is going to be Professor X, Charles
Ooh.
Xavier.
All right, good thing. I'm gonna put him at the 2. I do love me some Professor X. And I think him being bald helps with the telekinesis power. So that's an acceptable bald tolerance that I can take.
Bald tolerance. That's fucking crazy. Okay. Next one up. I guess this is more of a real person, but I'm going to like kind of stick with more so the character here of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's the number 1. That's who I was hoping was on this list so I could put him at number 1. What else can I say, bro? His aura outmatches his baldness is what I could say. He's him, bro. And obviously has one of the greatest finisher, apparently to me and Theo, it's the greatest finisher of all time. So yeah, he's comfortably in the number 1 spot. I was waiting for his name to be dropped.
There you go. At number 4, we have Walter White, Mr.
Ooh.
Heisenberg.
Here's the thing. I haven't seen Breaking Bad. I have not
Really?
seen Breaking Bad. That's something that at some point I will watch it because it's one of those where I've tried to watch it multiple times, I just fall off. Which happened to me with Daredevil, the original Daredevil, multiple times, and now that's one of my favorite shows. So I'm like, at some point, it'll just click. Like I'll try again, and it'll just click, and I'll watch the show. But I've only seen like half of season 1, maybe. So he's got to go in my 5 because I just don't really have any personal connection with him. But I do know he is a great character.
It is such a good show. I would definitely recommend it. And your last one, I think you kind of cooked here a little bit, but maybe also not because your number 5 is going to be Mace Windu.
Ooh, my number 4 was Mace Windu.
Yeah.
No, that's totally fine. I don't really fuck with Mace Windu. I think he's an asshole. I love Samuel L. Jackson. That's acceptable. Same situation where his aura outmatches his baldness. But the character of Mace Windu is kind of just a fucking asshole. So I don't really care for him. I will say I respect him in the sense that he, without that character, not sure how far we would go with a purple lightsaber, which is my favorite color and my lightsaber color of choice. So I will say I respect him for that, but the actual character of Mace Windu, kind of a fucking asshole, especially when your favorite character is Anakin Skywalker. It's not great. So I'm comfortable with him at the 4.
Okay. All right.
How would you rank it though?
Let's see here. I feel like I have to put Lex in my 1. I feel like it's just, to a certain degree, Superman really not can only be as good as his villains, but I feel like without Lex Luthor, I feel like he really is not as good written-wise as a character as he could be. Because I feel like Lex Luthor really challenges him to really be Superman to the best of his ability or either fail. So I feel that's just... He's got to be in my 1 for that. Number 2 is obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, he's obviously got to be top 3.
What?
You sound almost like a seal almost. He's like, what? But yeah, Stone Cold's dope, obviously. I'm gonna give the number 3 to Professor X. I feel like he's obviously very dope. Obviously, very instrumental to the X-Men and all of that. I'm gonna say Walter White at the 4, and then Mace Windu at the 5. I feel like Walter White is just a super dope character, very well written. The whole show is incredible. Again,
Yeah.
I would highly recommend you do watch it because he is very, very good in that, and Bryan Cranston does a very incredible job of acting in that show. But yeah, that's probably my 5.
It's similar with Sopranos for me. I've tried to watch Sopranos multiple times, and that's another one I just keep falling off of. So it's just a thing with me with like, I guess these like kind of drama TV shows and stuff like that. I just gotta lock in, but I will at some point lock in. It'll connect. But yeah, all right, good blind rank this week. I think we both had two very good, fun blind ranks. But news wise, we only really have one actual piece of news. The rest of this is just kind of some stuff I wanted to like talk about really quick. So the only actual kind of piece of news that we have here is Fortnite mirrors. I know we don't consistently cover Fortnite, but we do from time to time. And honestly, I think you can attest to this. Fortnite mirrors and the Christmas, like from October to like January is when Fortnite is like at its best every year. So
honestly, I wouldn't even say the Christmas stuff has really been hitting all that much recently compared to like earlier years. I feel like Fortnite is like it's the best time of the year for Fortnite.
It's hard to top 2019 Christmas, bro. They cooked during the 2019 Christmas.
They did
cook
during there.
Definitely Fortnite mirrors is definitely like the funnest time for Fortnite. Just the amount of collabs and the fact that like almost all of the collabs are Halloween related and things like that. So I just want to talk about that because I mean, the main character is Doja Cat, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah,
but I understand.
That was a weird pick.
She's a very big Fortnite fan, so I understand her coming in. But the fact that the whole Halloween thing revolves around a character that has nothing to do with Halloween, kind of weird to me. But I mean, we're getting off the rip tonight in the item shop when recording. Ghostface is dropping, which is literally my favorite horror character, so I'm definitely picking him up. All the Scooby-Doo characters, Scooby, Shaggy, Daphne, Velma, and Fred are coming into Fortnite. They're already in Fortnite, but they're going to be in the item shop. Wednesday Addams is coming in, which was not something that was leaked. They did a good job of hiding that one. So I know Theo's definitely going to be picking that skin up for sure.
That's definitely a pickup for me for sure, yeah.
Yeah. And she's got like Thing on her shoulder, which I thought was cool. Yeah, she's got like 2 emotes. I know that the Mystery Inc. crew got some emotes. Terrifier, that's another one. I know everybody loves Art the Clown, and he's coming into the game. The Grabber from the Black Phone also coming in, which makes sense because I believe the Black Phone 2 comes out either this month or next month, so that makes sense to collab with. What is it? Poppy's Playtime, I believe, is also getting a skin, the Huggy Dude or whatever, which is like a terrifyingly adorable. Jason, classic guy. Repo, which I don't know much about, but I have seen before, is also getting like some skins. Is there anybody else that I'm missing? I feel like I got everybody.
Shit, that might be it. There's so many people that they announced.
Right.
It's so hard to keep track of them all. I feel like that might be it.
Oh, there's also there's like an Alien Romulus skin that's
we don't know
coming.
what it is yet, but
right.
I'm assuming it's gonna be the tall, lanky, creepy motherfucker.
Bro,
that's gonna be my guess.
That would be insane. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I literally while I was waiting for you at the gym, me and Grace were playing, and we went in and did all the Mystery Inc. challenges and stuff. It's fun. It's definitely going to be even more fun when they continuously add everything, and I will be picking up Ghostface tonight for sure. So that's definitely really fun. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick because it's really cool.
Yeah, Fortnite Mirrors is always a vibe. I feel like they always add the most stuff throughout the year in that specific month. I feel like it's the best time to get on the game. If you're going to get on at any point in the year, it's October. Yeah.
There's also, I will say in a non-happy way, the Music Pass dropped. I don't know if it was today or yesterday or whatever, but the new like season for the Music Pass dropped. They've steered away from actual people. It's all original content now. I don't know if that's the path forward or if they just did it for this one season because they have Doja Cat as like the headliner for Fortnite Mirrors. But if it's continuous and they're only gonna do like original skins and stuff, I hate that. That is horrible. The whole like
it's terrible.
Purpose was like having really fun, creators and musicians that were part of it. I will say that the music tracks did cook. They have a Fall Out Boy track. There's Elton John's Rocket Man, so those are pretty good. But yeah, the original skins are not it, so I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. It is not a great time to be owning the Battle Pass. I mean, obviously there's still like the Power Ranger stuff, but that's really like across all 4 passes the only thing of any sort of interest at this point.
Right. All right. We're back. Yeah. So moving on from Fortnite Mares, which was kind of the only piece of news, I want to talk about two other things that I've seen in the 4 relation. These are not official news, but I have seen both of these circulating a lot over the past week. So first off, GTA 4 remaster. Apparently, this is something that's happening. I did see, I think like a year or two ago, I did see this start kicking up that this was a rumor, and it's like kicking back up again to where I think they're getting closer to where they may actually be announcing a remaster for GTA 4. I'm all on board.
Yes.
GTA 4 was not like, this may sound crazy because this should have been like my GTA game, but it wasn't because I really wasn't allowed to play GTA for a while. And so that's probably why, in place of where I would be playing GTA 4 was where I was playing Saints Row 2 because my mom didn't know what Saints Row 2 was. So like I didn't fully play through GTA 4 until like probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And I've beaten GTA 4, I've beaten the Ballad of Gay Tony, I've never beaten Lost in the Damned. I've never I've fallen off of it every time I've played it. So getting a remaster, I would absolutely love because I would love to dive into those, but in like a more advanced way because like those games, even though it's still very playable, it is kind of dated and like I think the visuals of it, I think because they wanted Liberty City to symbolize New York and be very like foggy and stuff, it is a little like visually it is a little like shitty. Because there's just like crazy amounts of like smog and shit all over the screen and whatnot. But yeah, if they could fix that and kind of make this obviously this ain't gonna be on GTA 6's level of graphics, so anybody expecting that needs to kind of check themselves. But it is definitely gonna be probably maybe closer to like PS4 GTA 5 levels of graphics. So that will be really cool if we do get that. So I'm hoping that happens for sure.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely dope. GTA 4 was my first GTA. I remember playing that a lot when I was a kid. I remember the online mode for that. compared to nowadays, it's obviously very nothing.
Yeah.
But back then, back in like 2009, 10, that shit was great. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I had such a blast with that.
I do stand corrected because I was at some point I wasn't playing it originally, but then at some point I was playing Ballad of Gay Tony. So Ballad of Gay Tony is probably my first technical GTA game. I wasn't playing GTA 4. I was because they released Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost and Damned like on its own as its like own games. So Ballad of Gay Tony was probably my first GTA game, but I never played the story. I always just like drove around and shot people and things like that.
Right.
But I do remember like 2012, 2013 before 5 came out, me and my friends played GTA 4 online a lot, and there was fuck all to do in that, especially compared to GTA Online, dude. Holy shit. All you could do was drive around. Like, that's pretty much all you could do is drive around and, like, kill each other or kill pedestrians. I think there was, like, certain game modes, but they weren't even that great. I know, what was it, like, Cops and Robbers or whatever, that was, like, a big game mode that everybody played. Other than that, I can't name you a single game mode that was in that.
Yeah.
So,
But I remember having a very fun time with it. I do hope that they actually go through with it and remaster the game. I think that'd be a fun pickup to play again at some point.
it definitely would. Especially if, I mean, I don't see them getting it out before GTA 6, but if they are able to get it out, like if they've been working on it and they're able to get it out in like January, February, and we could play it before we hop into GTA 6, that would be even better. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
If we're playing GTA 6, I don't know if we're going to be like, all right, let's stop playing GTA 6 to go play this GTA 4 remaster. So if they could get it out early next year before GTA 6 drops, that would be really cool to kind of dive into. Especially if you play that, then you go play 5 again, and then you go right into 6. That would be really, really cool. So yeah, not official news from what we know, but I have seen it a lot. So over the past week, I just wanted to talk about that, as well as Spider-Man 4, and I'm not talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4. I am talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4 that was obviously canceled in like 2010. This is another thing that I've seen kicked up a lot where people have been, you know, again, obviously people have always wanted this movie, and then after No Way Home came out, people were petitioning and wanting this movie, but it didn't really gain any traction. I've been seeing some rumblings of like a social media movement that is kind of on the verge of like happening here about getting a Raimi Spider-Man 4, and I think it's been kicked up even more because now Kirsten Dunst has like commented on it. I believe she was promoting a movie on like GMA or something like that this week, and they said, hey, a lot of fans seem to want this. It's kind of going off on Twitter right now. What are your thoughts? And she was like, fuck yeah, I'd love to come back as long as like Sam Raimi's a part of it. She didn't even say, she was like, if there's a good director, but as long as Sam Raimi's a part of it. So she was saying, even if he doesn't direct it, if it's a different director, but as long as he's involved, I'm all on board. So that obviously like added fuel to the fire. So that's another thing that obviously I would love to see happen. I think it would be awesome to see kind of like a conclusion to these characters that we obviously grew up with and love. And we did get to see one of them again, in No Way Home and stuff like that. But I would love to check back in with, Mary Jane and whatnot. I think it'd be really cool, especially if they get, Bryce Dallas Howard to come back as Gwen Stacy for that movie and things like that. To see that version of those characters grown up, probably have kids, struggling with, bills and taxes and all that stuff would be really cool to see. Toby kind of kick himself into gear one last time. I think it would be great.
Yeah, that'd obviously be dope. I mean, obviously we grew up with those movies, so obviously seeing where that ends up being at this point, like what, 20 years later almost at this point, that'd be pretty cool. I know, like, obviously that's obviously like the big thing kind of happening right now, but obviously there is also to the extent where I've also seen, not now, but like probably around the time of No Way Home, of just rumblings of obviously like Amazing Spider-Man 3, which is something else that I'd also really like to see as well in a similar scenario, or for similar reasons. But I think just more Spider-Man is just always going to be a good thing. Like I agree. Can't go wrong with that.
I don't believe that. I feel like people believe it, but I don't believe that Spider-Man fatigue is a thing. I don't even really think Superman or superhero fatigue is a thing, but I definitely don't think Spider-Man fatigue is a thing. We have grown up with like some sort of Spider-Man project releasing every year since we were little kids, and I've never been tired of it. I think the only Spider-Man project over the past 20 years that I've been like, was Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I watched a episode and then I was kind of like, I don't really care. But other than that, I've enjoyed everything I've watched. I've been excited for everything that has come out from the Raimi movies. The Amazing Spider-Man, during that time, I wasn't really into superheroes, so I wasn't excited during that time, but that wasn't like me hating Spider-Man. That was just me kind of focused on wrestling and stuff like that, and I didn't really have time to like go sit at the movies and shit like that. But other than that, every Spider-Man project from a movie or a video game or TV show, I've been excited to like watch. So I think yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 3 would be great. I think Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4 would be awesome. Just again, like kind of maybe going down a Peter B. Parker route where he's older, his back hurts again. He's dealing with his kid or kids, dealing with Mary Jane, things like that would be really cool to see. Especially again, if we can finally get like a closure to him and to the rest of these characters to kind of say, hey, it's been fun. This is the last rodeo. We'll see you around. Would be really cool to see. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Our last little thing of news before we dive into our full-on discussion is going to be Peacemaker Season 2. The gun was just unloading, bro. The gun was going crazy, and then at the last second, it just jammed the fuck up, bro. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I don't really necessarily want to dive like fully into every single episode because we kind of talked about most of the episodes each week. But it was going great. I know some people weren't a fan of the multiversal stuff, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was fun, and I thought it was a good idea for them to kind of get the multiversal stuff out of the way, so people weren't expecting it full on. But I'm also sure in 20 years, if James Gunn is still on board, or even if he's not, I'm sure in 20 years we'll come around to like a whole multiversal saga within the DCU as well. But yeah, I thought it was going great. Character development was going great. Some really good beats throughout the whole season. Especially in like the last few episodes with Harcourt and Chris, and then episode 7. James Gunn said episode 6 had John Cena's best acting ever. No. That was in episode 7.
That was episode 7 for sure. Yeah.
When Keith was about to be killed in front of him, and he just screams out in like an animalistic, child-esque way, and was like crying and stuff. That was John Cena's best acting. That was incredible and made me emotional. Because I care about the character, but also I don't want to see John Cena in that position. That's my childhood hero, So it definitely put me in a very emotional spot during that scene. But yeah, it was great. It was going very well. I liked the story up until that finale, man. And I think part of the issue is James Gunn was hyping this finale up. He said, this is great. And he also said this is the best work he's ever done. He also said we have some very heavy hitters in the DC universe coming in towards the end. None of that happened. This was not his best work, not even close to his best work in the finale. There were no heavy hitters, unless you want to talk about Mustache Guy from Superman being in there. Like there,
You
I
don't
don't
like Otis. You don't like Otis. Otis is great. It's such a heavy hitter.
Otis, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to hype it up, but I don't think lying to like the fan base is a great way to hype things up. So yeah, I was very disappointed. Even you said it when I messaged you yesterday. You were like, "Bro, I'm fucking bored." Like,
I was sitting there. I'm like, is something good gonna happen at some point? Honestly,
Right.
the highlight of the episode for me, which wasn't even like this is a really good thing, was honestly just Economos trying to distract the other people in the
Yeah.
the Luthor like Bay lab area, and he's just fucking stumbling through every single word. I was like, this is funny, but it should not have been the best part of that episode for the finale.
I didn't even think it was funny. I honestly was watching it, being like, what's going on here? Like, yeah, I don't know. Peacemaker, for a show called Peacemaker, he was not in this episode a lot for his finale. So that also wasn't great. As well as our favorite character, Vigilante, was really not in this episode. He's in like
really not in that
maybe
episode.
4 scenes total in the whole season finale. I will say shout out to Adebayo. I think the actor's name is Danielle Brooks. She was the MVP of this
Yes.
this episode. She came in clutch
She
with the
acted
scene.
out.
Yes, her acting was incredible. The scene with the girlfriend made me pretty emotional, where she chooses to let go. The scene where she's talking to Chris and saying, you know, he's the reason like she feels safe and is happy and, you know, can continue on, and how they all need each other. She was the MVP of the finale here for sure. Yeah, but other than that, I'm like, there were too many like needle drops. I've seen that a lot, where I'm like, yeah, it felt like every other scene there was some like song blasting through my TV speakers. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just, the gun jammed at the last second, bro. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just a whole lot of nothing happened in this episode until the last 5 minutes, where they kidnap Chris and throw him in another dimension, which I think it's called Salvation, I believe.
Yes, Salvation.
And it seems to be that there is a comic run called Salvation Run, which I don't know anything about, but that seems to be obviously what it's based off of and where this is all going. Yeah, man, I don't know. It just, even at that, when it was like the last few minutes and finally something happened, I was still like, but what is the idea here? I don't understand.
Right.
Because also, James Gunn has already said that there are no plans for season 3. So that means whatever happened here, the only thing it's leading to is Man of Tomorrow, because we know that these characters are going to like pop up and stuff like that. So I'm like, what does any of this have to do with Superman or Lex Luthor? I'm very confused as to what any of this has to do with any of that. As well as I thought, and you know, I'm not a director, I'm not a writer, I'm not a producer, so maybe I'm wrong, but I thought, you know, if you wanted like, if you're hyping up these cameos that, oh, there's going to be some heavy hitters that show up or whatever, I feel like when you throw Chris in there, that would have been a good opportunity. I know Chris is supposed to be the first one, the test subject, but it would have been kind of cool to see that maybe there were other test subjects, which happen to be Blue Beetle or Booster Gold or something like that, and you get a quick appearance from one of them going, hey, man, we don't know what the fuck's happening, but let's figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, once the portal closes, if, you know, these refugee-esque kind of characters of Blue Beetle or Booster Gold going, hey, man, I don't know you, you don't know me, and we have no clue what's going on, but let's figure out how to get the fuck out of here. And that's where you end the episode of, now Chris is in a different dimension or whatever, but he's with these characters that now everybody's excited to see pop up. I think that would have been a perfect way to like include those characters. But yeah, I don't know, man. It didn't hit.
Yeah, I was very very underwhelmed for sure. I don't know. It was obvious, like, because honest, they start building up this as well for the rest of the characters. This new agency sort of thing. This
Right.
What was it called? It was like Checkmate or something like that. This new
Which I do
agency
believe
that they're
is in the comics.
I do believe it's in the comics as well. Yes, I think so. But that also led to the very funny scene of Adrian and the Tim Meadows character going back and forth with all the animal facts. Honestly,
That may have been
could
my
gone-
favorite scene.
That could have gone on for like 10 minutes, and I would have been perfectly okay with that. I
Yeah.
When that ended, I was like, I would just want more of that, if anything.
Yeah, that literally may have been my only like favorite scene out of the whole finale there. Another thing too, I would have liked to see like maybe Amanda Waller pops up. Man, we did kind of get like her name dropped a few times, but I would have loved to see Amanda Waller, especially if, and again maybe I'm an idiot, but I would have loved if she shows up and not that she's a good guy because Amanda Waller is never a good guy, but almost like she shows up and is like, okay, fuck this Luthor shit because it's fucking with my shit. Like the Lex Luthor, Rick Flag shit is somehow fucking with Amanda Waller's shit, and so she almost kind of becomes a good guy where she's like, I'm gonna use I'm gonna use whoever I gotta use, but we need to take these motherfuckers the fuck out because they are fucking with my shit, and I don't fuck with that. Because it's like we know Viola Davis is staying on. James Gunn has already like confirmed that, but where the fuck is she? I know that there's supposed to be the Waller show, but I'm not even sure if that's happening anymore because there has not been. That was like one of the first things that was announced, and there has not been a single anything about a showrunner, a script, Viola Davis, nothing. There's been nothing, so I don't know if that's even happening anymore. So it's like she's a great character and a great actress. So where is she? Especially because she's so closely knit to season 1, especially with her daughter being in there and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, where the hell is this character? I would love to see her pop up again. Yeah, man. Other than that, there was no like post credit scene. The post credit scene was just more blooper-esque kind of shit where it's just them showing more of like the jokes that happened, which again I was just like, dude, I'm about to turn this off because it wasn't even funny to me in the episode. Something I feel like James Gunn, I think he said it where after Guardians 2 he kind of got soured on post credit scenes because he did the Adam Warlock thing and then everything kind of got shifted around and changed and then he still had to include Adam Warlock in Guardians 3, and so I don't think he fucks with post credit scenes anymore because of that. Where he was like, damn, I wish I didn't have to include, like I didn't include this post credit scene because now I have to fucking include this character. So when it comes to that, I'm not sure if we're ever gonna get like an actual meaningful post credit scene in any project,
Right.
which is sad because that's such like a, I mean it's been like very recently with a lot of Marvel project stuff, but that still is like a very big thing like in the DNA of like superhero movies is a post credit scene that like teases what's next or introduces a character. So if we don't get that in any DCU project, that would also be like very sad, I guess.
I can also kind of understand that though to his extent because it's just like from there, if he does tease something, then I think he kind of feels responsible to where he has to kind of follow up on that. To where if he doesn't have to do that, he could really just go in any direction he really kind of wants. I feel like he kind of really wants that freedom and works very well with that freedom of just being able to go wherever he wants to and then be able to come back to whatever that was whenever the time is right. But
Sure.
It feels like whenever you do an end credit scene and you do tease something, that's like, okay, that's obviously the next thing I have to work on. And I can understand that, like, obviously that's how chronology works, but I feel like with the DC, there's so many fun places you could go to where when you don't have that burden of having to go to the next thing, there's so much for you to explore in that whole universe.
Sure. I think I agree. Well, not that I necessarily agree. I understand. But to an extent, what would be the difference if... So, okay, let's say Peacemaker Season 2 finale, post-credit scene, they introduce Booster Gold, right? Kumail Nanjiani is playing Booster Gold. Hey, guys, I'm Booster Gold. What would be the difference in including that as a post-credit scene or just including that in an episode of the show? Because either way, you still now have to use this character. You know what I'm saying? Which he would use in an episode of the show without a problem. So I'm like, that kind of doesn't... 6'7", that doesn't weigh... that doesn't weigh too much.
Don't fucking 6'7".
But also, fuck, what was I gonna say? Now I threw myself off with the 6'7". There's a difference when he's directing, right? When he directs Guardians 2, does the Adam Warlock post credit scene, and then goes, fuck, I have to include him. He wasn't in charge, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he's the director, but he still has to answer to Marvel and Feige and Disney, to where maybe he went, yeah, I'll just scrap that and I'll use him. And then Kevin Feige goes, nah, man, you got to include him. Or Marvel, all the execs go, no, you need to include him. He's the boss. So it's like if he did set something up in a post-credit scene, not that he should do this because it's still not great, but if he did set something up in a post-credit scene, he doesn't have to necessarily use it. But also, on a more important note, he is the boss. So if he sets something up in a post-credit scene, there's nobody to tell him, hey, you can't do that in this next show because he's the guy that makes that. So it's like, I feel like him being soured on post-credit scenes in that aspect, I understand from the aspect of just being a director that's not in full control. But the fact that he's in full control, he could introduce Batman at the end of Lanterns, and then he doesn't have to worry about, oh, I don't know if I can use this, because it's like, no, you are in charge, so you're the one that dictates where Batman shows up again. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like post-credit scenes should be important. It should be included, and so yeah, that's just my last little bit of it.
Yeah, I think we can. There's really good reasons for both sides of the argument in terms of just post-credit scenes in general, especially in his case and DC's case for sure. But
Right.
all in all, I was expecting more. I really
Yeah.
I was expecting more for this episode. After the whole season's been banging, and then you just give me this, I'm like, well, that was a terrible dessert to a great meal.
Right. As well as I do want to add too, like, because I feel like we're. It's not bad. Fuck. It's like, in a way, it sounds like we're complaining that it was bad because there weren't cameos, and that's not the only reason we're complaining. Because I understand if something doesn't necessarily service the story, that you don't want to just throw in a random character. I completely understand that. It was also bad, kind of on like a just story beat. Like,
Yes.
we have this whole season where we're with these characters, and you have this whole plot line about the multiverse and Keith and his dad, and then that all gets wrapped up in episode 7, and then episode 8 is literally just nothing. Like, there's literally no story beat. What happened to Keith? He got stretchered out. Okay, but where is he? What's going on? Is he plotting his revenge? Like, things like that. Especially to where, like, that whole Nazi universe just gets I mean, not that I'm complaining, maybe we should have left it behind, but, like, they don't even mention that, really. Like, they're going through all these doors looking for all these universes, and they don't even think about what they could, about that universe. Like, I don't know, it just seemed all too lost, man. It just seemed like filler. It just seemed like a bunch of random stuff that James Gunn wanted to include in different episodes that he all just put into 1 hour-long episode at the end.
Yeah, it was really just like Adebayo's like story was really the major story that was wrapped up here more than anything else. But the problem with that is that was very much so a side story in this show, that it being the main resolution in the episode just kind of fell off. Also, I don't really care for where they're kind of taking Rick Flag Sr.'s character, because it seems very polar opposite to both how he was in Superman and how he was in Creature Commandos.
Right.
It's very opposite. I don't really understand why he would make this complete 180 switch up on his entire character for being against metahumans and stuff like that. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know.
Right. No, I agree. I haven't seen all of Creature Commandos, but I have seen that be a big topic, that Rick Flag in Creature Commandos and Rick Flag in Peacemaker are two, like, those are not the same character. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting. I understand in a sense how he feels about certain stuff because of his son, but, like, I don't even know if Peacemaker is really, like, a metahuman, bro. He's just, like, he's almost like...
He's a guy. He's just a guy.
Right. Like, I mean, he may have some, like, super soldier-esque situation to him, but, like, he is just a fucking guy. So it's like...
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I'm saying? As well as, like, I don't know. He's just a guy compared to, like, Superman or Green Lantern.
Rick Flag Sr. is literally just turning into Lex Luthor at this point.
Right. Like, yeah, I mean, even, like, Batman is just a guy, but Batman at least has detective skills and has all the gadgets. Peacemaker has his helmet and a gun and an eagle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eagly is more of a metahuman than Peacemaker is. So, like...
He really is.
I'm like...
The prime
yeah, the idea that, he's throwing this guy in with the metahuman, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems very off and yet very different than what his character is in the other things that we've seen him in. So yeah, I don't know, man. Just wasn't it. Maybe in, I don't know, in 2 years or whatever, when Man of Tomorrow comes out, we'll all be eating our words and it all makes sense. But as of right now, I am very lost. I'm not like, listen, I feel like everybody's very quick to be extreme with shit. So I'm sure there's already people that are like, no, I'm done with the DCU. This is bullshit. This is fucking weird. That ain't me at all. I'm still excited for the DCU because we haven't even put our toes in the water yet. We've hovered over the water. You know what I'm saying? So still very excited to see. It's just story-wise, especially if this is the main point of where the DCU is headed, I'm very confused and a little concerned. I'm not even really excited. I'm just like a little concerned as to what the fuck is going on.
I'm not exactly too concerned. I still have a lot of faith in him because, like, yes, this episode was a bit of a disappointment, but everything else we've really gotten from him has been generally pretty good. So, obviously, the track record is still there. But I think with like haters and stuff like that, I think they are a very loud minority in where you give them an inch and they'll go with it for a mile. So
Right.
I'm not really trusting to that. I'm not really listening to that. I'm still having a good time, more so than not.
Right.
And I'm still excited to see where it goes because obviously there's a bunch of other projects coming that aren't even really connected to this yet.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for
Well,
Lanterns. I believe that's
Lanterns,
what's next.
Supergirl, all Clayface, which I
Yeah.
mean that's more connected to the Matt Reeves stuff, anyways. I'm pretty sure.
No. It's in the DCU.
That's okay. Yeah, we include that as well. There's a lot of good stuff coming,
Yeah.
and I'm excited.
As well as obviously the Batman 2, which isn't in the DCU.
Of course,
but,
and the Batman too. Yeah, of course.
yeah, I'm very excited for Lanterns because I don't know too much about the Lanterns. It's not been one of my things. The most I have discussed, the most I've discovered about Lanterns, I guess maybe like Justice League, the Justice League show when I was a kid, but really more recently was when I watched Justice League New Frontier, which is a video that will be coming to my YouTube channel, I think, next week. Because Hal Jordan is like a main character. He kind of is the main character of that movie.
Right.
So that was kind of like the most I've seen of him in a while, at least. So I'm excited to watch that show because it's a show that we're going to get that actually includes like superpowers and stuff like that, but also I'm intrigued to see Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart and like learn about these characters and stuff like that.
Right.
Because also it's like that's a very big heavy hitter of like a character, which we don't like. We have Superman, but Superman's like the only heavy hitter character we have so far. So like adding in a new heavy hitter character where I'm not sure if it's an origin story, but I kind of hope it is, where we get to learn the origins of the powers and whatnot throughout this TV show, I think will be really, really cool. But yeah, let's move on to our actual discussion though, because we're already an hour into the episode. So our actual discussion today is going to be, what is the better superhero trilogy? Is it going to be the Raimi Spider-Verse trilogy, or is it going to be the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy? Theo, I will let you ramble on first.
So, this is actually very convenient because I just happened to watch Batman Begins fully for the first time this past week.
Hell yeah.
Which I now realize I forgot to bring up at the very beginning of the episode. But I did watch that for the first time. So this is very convenient timing that we're getting to talk about this because now I've seen every movie from both trilogies at this point.
Hell
And,
yeah. Had you never seen Batman Begins?
I had never seen Batman
Oh,
Begins.
I think you told me about this. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
side note real quick. I've always thought, I used to always think Dark Knight and then Dark Knight Rises and then Batman Begins, like that would be my order. I think I would switch Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises. I think that is my second favorite out of the trilogy. I think it's an underrated movie.
Yes, absolutely. I very much so enjoyed it. I think it has a very slow start, and there is a few things about it that I'm a little bit iffy on, but at the same time, I do think it is a very, very good
I think too.
origin movie.
I have I think I have some nostalgia to that movie because that's like 2005, and I remember they only made one video game out of that whole trilogy, and it was for that, and I played the shit out of that game. Could never beat it, but I played a lot of that game. That suit, I had like action figures of that suit, and I think I had a Halloween costume, or Logan had a Halloween costume of that. Like that, I have some nostalgia to, so that may be why it's like my second favorite in the trilogy.
Right. But if we're going on what's the better trilogy, I'm gonna say Nolan's Batman.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
We'll be on
will-
opposite sides of the coin because I would say the Raimi
I will say, Dark Knight Rises, worst of all the 6 movies in my opinion. I do not really fuck with Rises much at all. I don't think there's all that much to it. I feel like Bane, while he is a good villain and is portrayed well in this universe, is not a great portrayal of Bane overall as a character. But that being said, the first 2 movies, especially Dark Knight, I think really pick up this whole entire trilogy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Dark Knight is like undisputed. Probably is like the best superhero movie ever. Like da 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 da.
Right.
But I just feel like if we're looking at it from a movie standpoint, yes, the Dark Knight trilogy is the better movies. But if we're looking at it from a superhero movie standpoint, I think the Raimi trilogy is a better representation of superhero movies.
I can understand that take as well, yes.
Because the Dark Knight trilogy, as much as I love it, it's not really like superhero coded. It's like real life coded, that they threw like Batman characters into real life, which is great, but it's not very superhero coded. I mean, I as much as I love the Batman, I can even kind of say the same thing where realism takes over and like you're just putting Batman into like the real world, whereas the Spider-Man stuff, it feels like, you know, obviously it's the real world because it's New York, but that feels like Spider-Man. It feels very comic booky. It feels like a comic book rather than like a real life situation.
Right. I think it also is to an extent of just like the directors. I mean, not to disrespect Raimi or anything
Right.
like that, but Christopher Nolan is literally like one of the greatest
Right.
movie directors of all time. So it's really hard to really kind of get anything over him as well. So obviously there is that just heightened quality of movie and directing on the Nolan side of the cases. But I will agree with you into where it's like I feel like more so than most other superhero trilogies, if not every single other superhero trilogy, the Raimi Spider-Man movies feel the most like an actual superhero story in a
Right.
superhero
Right.
world.
Right. I mean, I have nostalgia too, but I definitely have more nostalgia for the Raimi movies because I grew up with those. Whereas the Dark Knight stuff, I was like still a kid, but I wasn't as into superheroes around then. I was more into WB and things like that. Because there was a point in my life where, like, as a kid, loved superheroes, and then like fell off, and then it wasn't until like 2016 where I got back into superheroes. And so most, like, again, Batman Begins, I obviously saw and whatnot, and grew up kind of with because it was like '05. But by Dark Knight, I was kind of like out of it a little bit. So I have more nostalgia for obviously the Raimi movies because I've seen all three. I believe Spider-Man 3 is like one of the first movies that I saw not as like a toddler, because obviously you take your kids to go see toddler movies and shit like that. As like a person, Spider-Man 3 is like one of the first movies I can remember like going to the theater and seeing, as well as obviously Revenge of the Sith and whatnot. So I have more nostalgia there, so maybe I am a little biased, but I just think, yeah, superhero wise, the Raimi trilogy is definitely like the better representation of that. But movie wise, it's like if we're looking at what movies, well, I guess we don't even have to look at what would win an Oscar, because Dark Knight, like Heath Ledger did win an Oscar and stuff like that as the motorcycle bandit goes flying by your window.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like obviously Oscar worthy is the Dark Knight movies, whereas that, you know, the Raimi one's not as much. I know people hate on Spider-Man 3, but I love Spider-Man 3. Again, maybe it's the nostalgia because I saw it, but I know it's convoluted. I know there's too many villains. I get it, but man, do I love that movie.
It's a fun
I just
time.
think it's
It's a
just a
fun
fun movie. Even without the memes, it's still just a very fun movie. I know, like, it's probably like 2 years ago, you and I watched Spider-Man 3 at my house, and we were just like rifling off the memes the whole time.
It was the craziest movie like duology we ever had, because we watched Hacksaw Ridge and
Yeah.
then we watched Spider-Man 3.
Right. So random, and my mom came and watched it with us, which is even funnier because she had no clue what the hell we were saying at all. But yeah, even without the memes though, it still is just a fun movie overall. So yeah, I don't know. It could go either way, and it depends on which way you're going. But I would stick with, I think I like more, even though I love The Dark Knight, I think I like the Raimi trilogy more personally.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with my Nolan answer. I can understand the Raimi answer. I think what also kind of helps the Nolan trilogy a little bit is that the three movies I feel like connect to each other a little bit better than the Spider-Man movies do, because or at least they lead into each other very well. Because I mean, Begins is like as Begins ends, it's like Gordon's coming to the Batman and he's like, hey, we got this double homicide thing going on. He's left this playing card and it's a Joker, and then obviously Joker goes into Dark Knight and stuff like that.
Right.
Dark Knight leads into Dark Knight Rises and stuff like that. So I feel like it as a trilogy flows better in terms of being able to connect each movie to each other. But I mean, obviously we obviously have that far greater nostalgia for the Raimi trilogy, far more than the Nolan trilogy, I'd say, because I started out with Dark Knight. I didn't even, because again, I haven't watched Batman Begins until like a few weeks or this past week, so I never really saw that one, and I don't have the nostalgia for it. And I don't even really have all that much nostalgia for Dark Knight Rises either. It's really just Dark Knight. But that movie took over the world by storm, so it's unavoidable at that point.
I will say, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, I love. I don't know if that's like a popular thing, but I do love him as that. And I know people have used the shots of him and Christian Bale from the scene where they're like doing the sword fight. People have used that in their like Star Wars Qui-Gon Jinn Returns thumbnails for years, bro. It is so funny.
Yeah.
Or on the other side, people have used the Christian Bale version of that, being like Christian Bale in Star Wars and stuff like that. Christian Bale as a Jedi and things like that, which I think is great. On the flip side, Anne Hathaway is Catwoman. I love Anne Hathaway. I don't love her as Catwoman. It's not great.
I don't care for a Catwoman. No,
Not great.
Absolutely not. No,
Not great.
no. Very weak.
Yeah. So, all right. I think that is all. Unless there's anything else you want to add to our episode here.
No. Should be it. I feel like
All right.
we covered everything.
Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all watching. We are filming our next set. We still have obviously our podcast for October that are coming out, but we are filming for November this weekend, which is going to be fun. So we have some fun episodes coming up for that. Obviously, there's a bunch of content coming out every week on my channel. I don't want to say a bunch, but there's at least a video every week that's coming out on my channel. A lot of reacting and things like that. I just had Power Rangers Clash of the Red Rangers. I've never seen that. And Theo, you don't know what that is, but basically it's Power Ranger Samurai, but the RPM Red Ranger gets sent to their dimension and they kind of fight and then they have to team up. It was really cool. So I had never seen that, so I did like a review for that and like a reaction to that. Obviously my Superman video, I have the Justice League video, so I have certain stuff coming out. So go check out my channel if you want more content, as well as Back to the 2000s. We have a podcast and stuff like that just dropped or should be dropping soon, I believe, on the 19th. So yeah, lots of content coming on from the Cousins of the Cosmos. I almost said the Guys of the Galaxy. From the Cousins of the Cosmos, there's a lot of content on this channel. And it should be, because I figured out that you can now collaborate with different channels, everything should be on this channel. From my channel or the Back 2000s or whatever, it should all be on the OTS Project channel. So it should all be in one place. So yeah, it shouldn't be hard to find. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to WNRN, of course, as always. And we will see y'all next week.